To commemorate the founding of New Orleans in 1718, WYES presents this tricentennial moment in celebration of our city's past and present.
Nestled in a French Quarter courtyard off Royal Street is a building that was once home to a couple who helped save the French Quarter, General and Mrs. L. Kemper Williams.
Kemper and Leila Williams were passionate preservationists and philanthropists. They were very wealthy people. Kemper Williams was the second generation of the Williams Cypress Lumber Company, and they owned 80,000 acres of cypress swamp in southwest Louisiana, near Patterson. In the 1930s, when they had cut down all the cypress trees, they struck oil underneath. Leila Williams' father, Robert Moore, was a banker and eventually owned the St. Charles Hotel.
Their love of the neighborhood, then in decline, resulted in the purchase and extensive renovation of an 1889 Italianate brick townhouse that had been a small hotel.
It's very comfortable. It's very lovely. It has all sorts of muted pinks and purples and greens in it and bold floral patterns. But also Leila worked with her designer, Mark Antony, to incorporate her love of antiques into the home.
The Williamses were preservationists. They purchased these buildings because somebody needed to buy them, they thought, so that they wouldn't be destroyed. And they recognized, though, that simply purchasing a few buildings in the French Quarter wasn't enough to save the French Quarter from demolition.
The Williamses were dedicated hosts with a mission.
And from 1946 until 1964, they hosted many, many dinner parties, 3 or 4 a week even, where they would bring all of their social circle into the French Quarter to socialize. Today we call it networking. And people through this process began to see that the French Quarter was in fact a place that they could do the things they like to do in, where they could socialize with the people they wanted to socialize with, where they could have a nice time and enjoy beautiful spaces.
These evenings would begin with the General's favorite cocktail.
The General's favorite drink was a martini, and we know how he liked his martini made. It's a recipe that we show off in the Williams residence from time to time. The General's martini is you take a fifth of gin, and you pour out what's in the neck, and you fill it up with vermouth and stick it in the fridge, and there you have ready to pour martinis.
The kitchen is perfectly preserved.
It has beautiful kind of mint green walls and huge banks of white cabinets that go all the way up to the ceiling. You need a ladder to get to the top cabinets, and industrial appliances, beautiful mid-century industrial appliances that we have all the manuals for. So we have really a great research collection of appliances in the Williams residence.
The Williamses purchased and restored 2 buildings contiguous to their home, including an 18th century Creole townhouse at 722 Toulouse Street. Initially a residence, it was used as a boarding house in the late 1930s, just a few years before the Williamses purchased it. One of the boarders was a struggling young Mississippi-born playwright named Tennessee Williams, who lived in a room in the attic.
When Tennessee Williams lived here, he would have climbed those stairs every day to get to his apartment up in the garret.
General Williams had a magnificent obsession.
So while he was living here in the heart of the French Quarter, he was buying up art and artifacts, documents and books, and all sorts of things related to the history of Louisiana, and stashing them away and hiring a curator to take care of them so that after he and Leila passed away, they would still be here for the public to enjoy.
And it all began in this home, also open for the public to enjoy.
WYES's New Orleans Tricentennial Moments are brought to you by the Miro Foundation and presented in association with the Historic New Orleans Collection.